Hi there, and today I thought I would tell you a little bit about some of the foods in Denmark, and not specifically about the best foods to try or the things that are the most Danish. Oh no, I'm going to tell you 7 weird Danish things about food. Stay tuned. Hi there and welcome back. If you're new to my channel, my name is Kelly and I'm an American who lives in Denmark. And yes, I'm a bit of a picky eater. And normally I don't expect to find American food wherever I go. I like to try the different foods of the different countries. I like to travel around. I like to experience a lot about different places, not just seeing the most important things, but really having a good experience. And when I moved to Denmark, part of that was getting to know some of the Danish foods. I married a Danish guy. I have 2 kids who are growing up and experiencing a Danish childhood. And we are really getting to eat a lot of foods that are typical Danish foods. But when I first came to Denmark, I have to tell you, things were a little crazy because I only ate potatoes and bread. It was a very difficult situation, considering I had been a vegetarian for many years before that, and Denmark, in small towns, was really not all that comfortable with the vegetarian lifestyle. Maybe they were in bigger cities, but most definitely not the places that I visited when I came to Denmark with my husband to see his family. Now I'm going to get into some of those things and maybe tell you a little story or two behind some of them. But before we get involved with that, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so. I would love to have you along. And if you are already a subscriber, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Now I'm going to go through 7 different Danish foods that I, as a foreigner, think are kind of weird. And if you are a foreigner and you have these types of foods where you live, let me know. I am under the impression that this is something that just happens here in Denmark. And if I am wrong by that, let me know. But from my travels that I have had in many different countries, these are some things that I have never seen. And because I have been a vegetarian since 1994, I actually haven't tried all of these things. So you'll have to let me know what you think of them if you're someone who's had them before. Okay, here we go, and in no particular order. Number 1, hot dog. And you're thinking, what does that have to do with anything? That's not weird. But they're red. It's so weird. It seems unnatural. I don't know why they're red. Can someone explain this to me? Why are they red? And I mean, they're not just like a tint of red. They're like bright red. And I have seen that when you cook them in water, that the water actually turns red. What is this? Do you put dye on these hot dogs? What is coming off in this water? Why is it turning red? It's so weird. That is one thing that I was not prepared to see, and then it really took me a couple glances to see what exactly is that. And you know that when you are dating a Danish guy and he's been living in the US for quite a few years, and you go back to Denmark with him after he's been gone for so long, at the airport, what is there? There's a hot dog stand, because in Denmark they love their hot dog stands. They're everywhere. I live in a small town and we have hot dog stands here. It's so funny because that was the first thing, and I've even heard that from a lot of Danes who lived abroad, that they couldn't wait to get home to Denmark to stop at that hot dog stand, which they would do at the Copenhagen airport or even at the Billund airport. And so that was one of the very first things that I had exposure to, was the red hot dog. Number 2, along with that, is the hot dog bun. Now, in the US, our hot dog buns are the same size as our hot dogs. You know, maybe they're like this big, I don't know. And it just kind of makes sense. You know, we sometimes have this saying that, you know, it's, oh, just like a dog in a bun. You know, it fits perfectly, right? Wrong. When you go to Denmark and you're at that Pølsevogn, that hot dog wagon, and you're ordering your hot dog, they have this kind of bread, and it's not the only kind of bread you can get. There's different kinds of breads for different types of hot dogs. Maybe I'll make a hot dog video. That's just weird. Yes, as a vegetarian, I don't eat this stuff. I have no idea what it tastes like, so let me know. I've had veggie dogs before at a hot dog stand, so I got to participate a little bit. But this Fransk hot dog bun is actually, it's like a little loaf of bread, but if you turn it this way, there's a round hole in it that goes all the way in. And what they do is they take the tongs and they pick up the sausage and they stuff it in that hole. But maybe before that, they'll squirt some ketchup in there, or they'll squirt some mustard or whatever it is that you want. And then they'll put the sausage in. And watching that was almost like watching someone do a magic trick. I'm like, what the heck is that? I know it's something simple as a hot dog. I'm sure it tastes like a hot dog and it just tastes like a bun. But it was just so weird. I don't know how to describe it. You know, and they're like stuffing it in there, but it doesn't fit. So the bread is like this big, and there's this much hot dog sticking up from the end of it. The bottom is, you know, closed because you're squirting all of your condiments in there. But there's some hot dog that's coming up over the edge. And I just thought, man, that is so weird. I've never seen anything like that before. Number three. Number three is something that I have eaten before. And I have to tell you, it was such a weird cultural shock because I didn't know what I was eating. I thought I knew, but I did not know. And to me, I feel like this is very Danish because I've never seen this anywhere else. But again, if I'm wrong, let me know. This is called Asier, and I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Asier is something you can get in a jar here. You know, it's like a pickle jar, right? A glass jar that has liquid inside and it's got all these floating things. Okay, story time. The very first time I came to Denmark, we were here for my mother-in-law's birthday. And it was also Christmas, you know, a couple of things kind of tied in. We were celebrating a lot of things during our visit. And I, of course, am vegetarian. And being at this dinner, there was really nothing that I could eat but bread and potatoes. And I mean, they don't know how to cater to a vegetarian. And, you know, it's her party. She's thinking of probably the things that she wants to eat and the things that her guests want to eat. I get it. And I was anticipating the fact that it would be difficult for me to find food because it was kind of difficult that entire trip to get a lot of food. I was starving because even the grocery store back in 2007, believe it or not, really did not sell a lot of vegetarian anything. And so I had granola bars and fruit crackers and things like that in my pocket just in case. But they had a table, you know, everybody was supposed to kind of go around and take some things. And I thought to myself, oh, pears. Oh my gosh, I really could go for a pear right now. Normally in the US, yes, you can buy fresh pears. You can buy fresh a lot of different things for fruits and vegetables. But just like here in Denmark, you can get a can. It's the fruit cocktail. It's the pear. It's the peaches, right? And as a kid and even as a young adult, I always enjoyed canned pears. I don't know. It was always kind of a nice treat. And I saw this plate of what looked like, you know, like slimy pears, right? Like they had been in the can or something. Oh my gosh. Boy, was I wrong. They weren't pears. I'm so glad I didn't load up my plate. Like, oh my God, finally something I can eat. Oh my God. Yes, they are something that's called Asier, and I have looked this up because I was never given like a straightforward answer, but it says that they are pickled cucumbers. And I don't know how to describe the taste, but I think it's because I was so looking forward to a pear, a sweet, juicy, delicious pear. And then I got this thing and I'm like, what is that? One thing to know about in Denmark is they like to pickle things, and that was a pickle platter. Yeah, we have our pickles and our olives and stuff, right, that we put out for a party that go with our cheese plates and our meats plates and things. If you're American, you know what I'm talking about. But I swear to God, this table, every little thing on it was pickled. And that's one thing about Denmark, that it's just so weird. I thought, oh my God, who would pickle a pear? I thought, who would pickle a pear? Oh my God, that sounds like a tongue twister we say. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. But I swear to God, I mean, that entire trip, I thought I had a pear that was pickled in vinegar and water and all kinds of things. But it was like, you know, you shave off the green part of the cucumber, and it was just the white part. And I don't know how they do it. But it's something that's really popular here. It's on the tables for dinner, and, you know, a little side kind of dish thing. It's not like in a big bowl or anything. It's just like a tiny little dish, and maybe you eat one of them or something. And I just thought, oh, sweet Lord. And I haven't had one since. Maybe I'll get a little, you know, risky and go out there and try one. And maybe I won't. Okay. Number 4, the Danes love their Brun Sovs. They love to put sauces on a lot of different things, but their brown sauce is very Danish. And it's also very brown. It's like looking at chocolate sauce, like dark chocolate. It's very dark. You're thinking, oh my gosh, this gravy is the darkest gravy I've ever seen. So it looks very unnatural. But in order to make this Brun Sovs, they use this brown sauce paste. And it comes in a tube, like a ketchup or a mustard tube. And it's just weird. I know that when we came to Denmark to visit, my husband made sure he brought a tube of this back when we went back to the US. And really, he only made the brown sauce for like special holidays. When in Denmark, it seems that they make it more often. But I think for my husband, he was the only person who was really interested in eating it. So he didn't waste it, you know, on just regular old potatoes, which I'm thinking he probably could have, you know, why not? But it's just kind of weird because in the US, we normally make gravy, right? So you're maybe cooking chicken or pork or anything, and then, you know, it's got some kind of waters and juices that come off of it, and then you mix that up with some flour and some milk and stuff, and voila, you've got gravy. And then you can put the gravy on the meat. Of course, you can also use like bouillon cubes and stuff like that. That's what they use to make their brown sauce that they generally put on potatoes. And sometimes, you know, in different meats, but like I said, it's very specific. That to me, I'm still a little shocked by, because it just seems so unnatural. But if you're a Dane, it's one of these must-have things for your kitchen. And it's something that pretty much all Danes eat. Okay, number 5. Oh my God. Okay. If you haven't eaten, I mean, you may want to pause and go eat and then come back for this one, because this is just nasty. There's no excuse for this one for starters. But number 5 is called skyr. My husband eats this on top of his leverpostej or his liver pate, which is kind of a weird thing too. But I know we have it in the US, but it's not very popular. But that's a whole nother story. But this skyr is a meat jello. And you're like, what the heck is a meat jello? Oh my God. I'm like, what the heck is that? Okay. I love jello. I'm a big jello person. I love strawberry jello. I love orange jello. I love lime. This isn't like that, okay? This isn't the same. You can't even really buy that stuff here. I think I've seen it in a couple of different places, and it's not in my little dinky town. Dinky means small, okay? It's not in my town at all. So if you are one of these spoiled people who live in Denmark and you've got Jello in your store, oh my God, let's be friends. Send me some. But, oh my God, this skew is actually Jello. It's got gelatin in it, but it's gelatin not mixed with like hot and cold water and then, you know, with like a nice sugary flavoring. It's mixed with beef broth. It's just so gross, you know? It's brown and I don't know. Yes, I'm a vegetarian, so I'm a little bit biased with anything that has to do with meat. But it's just yucky. I don't know. Who likes skew out there? Let me know. I would love to know if you are not Danish and you like it, or if you saw it for the first time, what did you think? Or maybe you live in another country and that's also something that you guys eat. I mean, it's not anything I've ever seen before in the US. And I lived with a Danish guy in the US, so if we had Danish food anywhere near where we were living, he would have found it. But yeah, that's most definitely my number 5. Number 6. Not so weird when you probably taste it. Again, this is a meat dish, so I don't know what it tastes like. And if you were to explain it to me, I would think, oh, that's probably pretty normal. It's probably something like what, you know, we would eat in the US. But I think for me, it was the name of it. When I first came to Denmark, this is something that was made, and my husband told me what it was called, and I thought, what are you eating? Which, of course, yeah, sure. This could be something that people eat, yeah, sure. But it just really caught me off guard, and I thought, what? This one is called forloren hare, which means lost hare or lost rabbit. And I thought, okay, so this is like a rabbit? What are you eating? It was just really confusing. Really all it is like meatloaf. So it's like ground meat, and it's usually like pork or beef or something, and it's kind of mixed with other things, and then maybe they put bacon on it. So it's not really a rabbit, but when and I know people eat rabbit, and it's a very kind of traditional Danish. It's not something I think you would see on a lot of restaurant menus, but it is very traditional Danish. And the first time I heard of that, I thought, what is this? What are you eating? What is on your plate? So that one I'm gonna put in just for fun. Now my number 7, a food that I think is a bit weird in Denmark. And weird doesn't mean that it's bad. So don't get all upset. This is a fun video. So if you're Danish and you're like, oh, she's making fun of our food. Let's get her. I mean, come on, people, really? It's all right. We're just having a good time here. But don't get too upset when I tell you my number 7, because this one really might pinch a nerve. Number 7 is smørrebrød. And I hope I said that right. These are the open-faced sandwiches that are so Danish. If you go out really anywhere, you go to a deli, they'll have these. If you go to a lunch, they'll have these. If you go to any type of party during the lunchtime, they're going to have something like this. And really what it is slices of rye bread with stuff on top. And normally there's certain things that tend to always come on top. Like you might have liver pasty, you know, the liver pate. There could be ones that have slices of hard-boiled eggs on them with little shrimps. It can be a lot of different things. It can be slices of like ham or other kinds of like kind of deli type meat. There could be other things put on it, and they're very beautiful. I think that they're very beautiful, but I was really surprised by them. I am used to eating sandwiches for lunch. I mean, I love bagel sandwiches. That was my go-to. A bagel sandwich, yum. I would love to eat bagel sandwiches. I love to eat, you know, like wheat bread that's toasted with like egg salad. Ah, that is a good sandwich. But in Denmark, they're not all about, you know, sandwich eating. They're all about their forks and knives and eating their nice, delicate little art display smørrebrød. And in a way, I tell you, it's kind of fun. The very first time that I saw it, it was almost to me like being at a tea party. You know, when you're like a little girl, I'm like, oh, would you like some tea? And oh, here's a sandwich. And you're pretending to have like this little posh afternoon. And to me, in a way, that's kind of what Smørrebrød is all about. Unfortunately, again, being a vegetarian, I don't eat a whole lot of stuff that goes on there. But I look at them and I think they're pretty. I've been to a lot of Danish meals with them because I've been with a Danish guy for nearly 14 years. So they're going to be around, and they're going to be around quite often. I like that though. I like that they have that. To me, it's like a tapas, you know, if you go to Spain or somewhere, and they have these little tapas that are always different. So it's not like you're going to have one sandwich and that's going to be your lunch. But to me, that would be enough. I would just love that. But you could have a few of these little breads and they could all be different, and you could have different tastes and different experiences. So I have to say, this last one, I still don't think it's weird. I don't think it's odd. I actually think it's kind of a neat and a fun thing. I just wish that as a vegetarian, there was more things that I could eat. Because I want to play, right? I want to play with my posh little tea party kind of thing. But there you go. A nice, fun little video about weird things. And again, they're not that weird. I guess if you're a Dane, I mean, my kids are growing up with these things and they're not thinking that they're weird. But if you're a foreigner and you live almost your entire life in another country, and you come here and you see something like meat jello, and I'm like, ew, what is that? I don't know, I think it's just a fun experience of being in another country. It's difficult sometimes that I can't share this shock with my family, because none of them are really experiencing the country like I am. But I'm glad I can share it with you guys, and at least maybe you can find this somewhat humorous. And if you're a foreigner, I got you, right? I got you. Thanks for coming along on this video. Thanks for all of your support. I am so appreciative that you are here. So thanks for coming along on this video. What foods do you think are just weird? And it doesn't matter where they're from. They could be Danish, they can be from another country. Let me know about them in the comments. I want to know what you think about food. I can't wait to see you in another video, and I hope, as always, you come back and become a subscriber if you haven't already. That's it for me today. Take care.